Wanted to give you an overview of the Masterbuilt Extra Wide Propane Smoker. 15,400 BTU stainless steel burner, 1,333 square inches of cooking space, push button igniter, not that big a deal. 4 oversized chrome plated steel cooking racks. That's the big deal for me, is just the amount of food that you can smoke with this thing. I bought it a few months ago, I've been real happy with it, used it a ton. Actually ended up buying a second one for some large scale smoking things that I've been doing. You can see it compared to the Cook Shack. It's quite a bit larger. The Masterbuilt electric smokehouse is a similar size. It's a little taller than the Cook Shack, but either way you can see that the Masterbuilt is a lot wider and a lot taller. It's a pretty well built unit. These handles just screw on. Nothing too complicated about the make of it. It's a metal box, really. But for the price, which is around 200 bucks, you can usually find it on sale for $179. Bass Pro Shop's the only place that sells them, from what I've been able to find. But really, for the price, you can't buy a box of metal. So the fact that this comes with a stand and a burner and shelves and everything is real nice. So that's a good unit. A few things I'm not thrilled about. Thermometer doesn't really work that well. It's not extremely accurate. Pretty easy to solve that problem. I'll explain that or show you as I show you the inside of the unit here. So again, it's propane, which means it's actually pretty mobile, which is nice. Just bring your tank and bring this along with you. Hook it up wherever you're at. This is how I solve the thermometer issue. Pretty straightforward. Use a oven thermometer. There's 4 racks that come with it. Pretty good size racks. Each one is about the size of your low-end grill's cooking space. So imagine now 4 times that. Again, there's 4 of them. There's also holes here that you can't probably see. These shelves, you could basically choose where you want to put them. So it's great for compressing the shelves if you want to do something thin like a fish or sausage, things like that. What I've been contemplating is buying an extra set of shelves and then being able to have 7 shelves in here for a lot of sausage or a lot of fish, which I may do if an event requires that. Also has a tray here. Pretty clever idea, just fills a full tray slot, but has a little water tray. Water tray is not extremely big, but it does the job. I mean, you usually have to refill it a few times, which is not the end of the world, but that's something to note going into it. Excuse me, Cody, can you move, please? Come on. Okay, you're excited. We have cast iron skillet here. It does not come with it, but this is a solution for the chip pan. This is what they give. It's fine. I mean, there's the real problem with it is these vents on the bottom. They allow too much oxygen to get to the wood, so they smolder or they smoke for about maybe a minute or 2, and then they just burst into flames. And then underneath there, you can see that's where the burner is. Really, the best way to solve that, just put a cast iron skillet on top and put your wood chips or chunks inside. I use kind of thick chunks, and then I split them with a hatchet so that they're good size. I'm not a big fan of the wood chips. They're a little too small for me for anything practical. So that's kind of how you solve that problem. And then the push button ignition is a little lackluster to me. It worked the first time I used it, but when I'm pulling out my trays and mopping stuff, some of the mop sauce falls down there, and now it's kind of sticky. So that is not a big deal. They have a little one of those little wands that you put a match in, and you can light it that way, or I just use one of those extended nozzle lighters. And then the other thing to note, there's not really a way to say I want it to be 200 degrees like you can with an electric smoker. So this one goes from basically high to low. And what I've done is basically run it and get an idea as to what temperature is what. So straight down for me on this unit is pretty close to 225. Kind of fluctuates a little bit depending on when I've opened the doors and things like that, but overall that's pretty consistent. If I feel like things are going a little slow, and I'll just twist it a little bit to up it. It's kind of a, it seems like it's much more of a feeling it game than it is precision, like, or I guess you don't really know if the electric ones are that precise, to be honest with you. You just don't fiddle with the temperature. But I actually don't mind that. In terms of results, I've gotten really good results out of this thing. I feel like the smoke ring is a lot more prominent, so the food that you pull out of it looks smoked, which is kind of nice. Flavor-wise, they're both fantastic. But one thing that I was blown away with with this was I was on location somewhere heating stuff up, and I needed to heat up a lot of it quickly, but also I need to keep stuff warm. And so I started heating things up before the event started, and then I used this as a kind of a warmer to keep things warm. So I was able to get 16 half chafing dishes in there, or 8 full chafing dishes if you do the basic math there. But you just stack them on top of each other, slide them in there, and it worked like a charm. So it was great with the half chafing dishes because you could do half of it at a time. So yeah, it worked real well for that. So it's great if you want some versatility in terms of being able to take it places. If you're going camping, and I mean, you can essentially use this as an oven. I would be confident that you could get it up over 300, 350-ish, so you could bake something if you needed to. But it is a little large, obviously, for that. If you have a truck or something, it's no issue whatsoever. I've been able to fit this in the back of a Honda CR-V, so with the seats folded down. But still, I mean, that's pretty mobile, you know, considering. But overall, for the price of $200, what you're able to do is pretty impressive. The big thing that I like about it, and why I would even consider talking about it with regards to starting out in meat smoking, is a lot of times you jump in and you enjoy what you're doing, then you want to have some friends over, and you quickly realize, well, shoot, I can only get, you know, a handful of things in my smaller smoker. It's usually things like ribs, things that are large, take up a lot of space. But you can fit a ton in this thing to really make it worth its money. So when you're considering this versus the electric Masterbuilt, which seems to have had a lot of problems from the things that I've read, both friends and also reading things online, this thing, it's just a box of metal. So if your burner goes out, it's no problem. There's no proprietary anything, no circuitry you have to deal with. You just go to your local hardware store and buy a burner. So overall, I love it. It's worth checking it out. Bass Pro Shop, again, is the only place I've seen it, but they usually have a model on the floor, so it's worth going to check it out. You can also get it on bassproshop.com if you don't live by one. And again, watch for that sale for $179. So yeah, that's the Masterbuilt Extra Wide Propane Smoker.